I think my colleague's going to talk about
Can you hear us
this
now?
morning.
This is the message to the GOP.
And for those of you in the back of the room that can't read this, Senator, would you like to say what it
GOP
says?
stands for get out of our panties, and that's exactly what we want the GOP to do. And I'm going to put a finer point on this and then turn it over to Senator Cafaro. And we also have Senator Sawyer, who is here with us, that the grand old party wants to go back to the old days when women were barefoot and pregnant, home to make dinner by 5 p.m. And they claim to be pro-life. But what does pro-life mean? For a party that slashes funding for early childhood education cannot call itself pro-life. A party that defends the sale of automatic assault weapons designed for warfare on the public cannot call themselves pro-life. A party that opposes policies begun under a Republican administration in the 1970s to protect our air and water and to curb childhood asthma cannot call themselves pro-life. A party that supports abstinence-only sex education and opposes contraception access, well, they cannot call themselves pro-life. A party, in the words of Thomas Friedman, that believes that the sanctity of life begins at conception but it ends at birth is certainly not pro-life. And here in the state of Ohio, we know all too well in the last biennium budget how much the grand old party cares about the 1.8 million school-aged children in this state as they cut funding to K through 12 education. We know how much they care about the children of this state as they cut local government funds, those same funds that hire and employ police officers and EMS workers and firefighters. They really care about life. But as Thomas Friedman said, that belief stops at birth. So can you hear us now? This t-shirt is exactly what we are saying to you. It's funny how they want small government. They want small government small enough to fit in a woman's womb. But when it comes to everything else. So last week, and let's be clear about this, the re-election of President Obama and Senator Sherrod Brown showed that Americans, and particularly Ohioans, want politicians who acknowledge the sovereignty of women. Exit polls from most recent political elections would show that 56% of Ohio voters believe abortion should be legal all or most of the time. Americans rejected the crazy, foolish nonsense of people like Murdoch, Representative, you got that picture, and Aiken in favor of dignity for women to be able to control their own bodies, their hearts, their minds, and their souls. So not only what they are doing to defund Planned Parenthood, not only is it immoral, the fact that they have the pure, unadulterated gall to take up what they call the heartbeat bill, but I call it the heartless bill, because they don't give a care about women. I have 3 words for the GOP. Get a grip. Get a grip. And stop the attack on women. Stop making women subjects and objects. We are grown. And we know how to make our own decisions. We are not extensions of children. We know how to make our own decisions. The same women that birthed them into the world know how to make their own decisions. I have to declare, as I've declared many times, that many of these men had to have been hatched. They certainly could not have been birthed, because they do not have respect for women. And to the women of Ohio, I want you to understand that their rhetoric and their cunning smiles doesn't change the fact that they have no respect for women at all, and they are treating us as if we are second-class citizens, but we are not going to stand for it any longer. They don't want us to have a choice or a voice, but we will continue to lift our voices, and the men who support and respect women will continue to lift their voices. And just to remind you that their whole platform, Republicans, and let's be clear, it's not Democrats, it is Republicans. And as much as we hate to be partisan on this issue, they leave us no other choice, because this is their platform. So I want to remind you of some of the nice things that they have said when they're honest about how they feel about women. So Paul Ryan, I'm as pro-life as a person gets. You're not going to have a truce. when he was asked about jailing women for having an abortion, he said, if it's illegal, it's illegal. Ryan also voted for a bill to give fetuses equal protection under the 14th Amendment. And I just can't understand. These are the same men that don't want women to make dollar for dollar as a man. But then they try to speak up as if they give a care about life. Well, they do not. And in text talk, women are going to go ham on them as long as they continue. And consult the text dictionary if you need to know what that means. If they continue their pursuit to disregard women, to oppress, suppress women, we are not going to stand for it. We are going to continue to fight. And I want to thank Planned Parenthood for all that you do. And I want to thank the supporters in this room for all that you do. This is not just about women being able to control their reproductive health. This is about women being able to control the most personal thing that we all have in this room, and that is our bodies. And how dare government, particularly men, try to tell us what to do. We are not going back to the dark ages. You are not going to suppress our voice or our choice. We will have the final say, and we are not going to forget. Representative, you got those pictures? We're not going to forget. And we need a poster of all the GOP members in the legislature who believe in this kind of foolishness. We won't stop. Now, with that, I want to turn it over to my colleague.